Welcome. In this video, we will discuss about how the US has formally now existed the Paris Climate Deal. So what is Paris Climate Deal is all about, why US has exited it now, what are its implications. We will discuss that about in detail in this video. So let's begin. So the US formally exited the Paris Climate Agreement amid the election uncertainty. So if you guys have been following news, you must have know that the US election has been going on and the result is yet to be announced. And amid that itself, US has formally exited the Paris Climate Agreement. The US exited the pact after a mandatory year-long waiting period ended. So the thing was, back in 2019 itself, US has pulled itself out of the Paris Climate Agreement. But there is a kind of a lock-in period of 1 year, which for negotiation of any reconsideration sort of thing. But now that has also ended, and because of it, now US has formally exited from the deal. The US is the only country to withdraw from the global pact. So now you have to understand that it is the only country who have decided to go ahead and pull itself out of the global climate deal. It can still attend the negotiation and give opinion, but is relegated to observer status. So right now, instead of being a party to the agreement, it has become an observer. So it can still go for the negotiation, it can still give its opinion regarding the various deals which will go on or various clauses of the agreement, but now it is just an observer and not a party anymore. The US is the second leading producer of all carbon dioxide emission globally, behind China. Now this is something you have to understand in order to understand why US was supposed to, or it has a responsibility to be in the climate this particular Paris Agreement Act, because it is the second largest emitter of CO2, and CO2 being a greenhouse gas is one of the major component or one of the most targeted pollutant which is causing the global warming and which need to be tackled under the Paris Climate Agreement. So you can understand from that perspective that the higher the emission, the more should be the responsibility of a country, but US has decided to pull out of the agreement. So that is the latest news. Now let's try to understand about the Paris Agreement. So this particular topic is important from your examination point of view. In your GS paper 3, you have the section of environment, and in that UPSC has been asking about the various in like what you can call the international convention. Apart from that, in GS paper 1 also there is a component of climate change. So in both these regard, this particular topic is important from your UPSC point of view. So the Paris Agreement is an agreement within the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or what we can call as UNFCCC. This particular agreement came into picture in Rio Summit, which was held in 1992. So that was the background in which the UNFCCC came into picture, and the Paris Agreement is within its ambit. It deals with the greenhouse gas emission mitigation, adaptation and finance, and it is signed in 2016. The agreement's language was negotiated by representatives of 196 states at the 21st Conference of Party of the UNFCCC at near Paris in the 2015. So basically it was called Paris Agreement because the whole scenario, the whole guidelines or the procedure were discussed at the place called Le Bourget, which is near France, and hence it is called as Paris Agreement. As of February 2020, all 196 members of the UNFCCC have signed the agreement and 189 have become party to it. So signature has been done by all the members of UNFCCC and 189 has become even the party to the agreement, which means that they will follow the agreement in spirit. Of the 7 countries which are not party to the law, only significant emitters are Iran and Turkey. So just for information, remember that Iran and Turkey has signed the agreement, but they have not become a party to the agreement, and all the other 5 nations, they are not very major emitters. So this is something you need to know. Now let's also try to understand some other details which are important for you to understand what are the different mechanism involved in the Paris Agreement. So Paris Agreement's long-term temperature goal is to keep the increase in global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial level. So like pre-industrial level around like 1750s. Before that, whatever was the temperature, the major goal or the main focus of the Paris Agreement is that it should not be increased beyond the 2 degrees Celsius, and ideally the pursuit of effort should be to keep the increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius only. So the idea is that in under no condition it could breach the 2.2 degrees Celsius, but the pursuant effort should be to keep it well below the 1.5 degrees Celsius. So this is the main goal. In fact, there is an IPCC report which talks about that why we need to keep the temperature at 1.5 degrees Celsius if we want to avert the various kind of catastrophe which could be triggered by the climate change. So just remember that the goal of the Paris Agreement is to keep the temperature below 2 degrees Celsius from the pre-industrial level. This should be done by reducing the emissions as soon as possible. So the way the greenhouse gas emission has increased the global temperature, the cause or the effect could be tackled only when we are reducing the emission itself. So that is one of the mandate under the Paris Agreement. It also aimed to increase the ability of parties to adapt to the adverse impact of climate change and make finance flow consistent with the pathway towards low greenhouse gas emission and climate resilient development. So the idea is under this particular agreement there will be a flow of finance, and flow of finance will be directed towards the countries which are putting efforts to make it like to make them more resilient towards the climate change, as well as to have the like lower emissions of greenhouse gases technology which could emit lower greenhouse gases. So this is also which is included in the agreement. Under the Paris Agreement, each country must determine, plan and regularly report on the contribution that it undertakes to mitigate global warming. So this is very interesting, or something which is different from the Kyoto Protocol, which is the one which was maintaining the carbon emission so far. So the Kyoto Protocol of the UNFCCC itself was the one which was maintaining the carbon emissions, and it has a different kind of mechanism. You might have read about the carbon credits, the clean mechanism. So the idea over there was there were certain targets which were assigned to the countries, and they were like segregated like Annex 1, Annex 2, such kind of segregation were there. But in Paris Agreement, it was thought that instead of like going from the top down approach, for an example, let's empower the countries to come up with a kind of a target which they could achieve considering their local conditions. So that is one of the major kind of a difference between the Paris Agreement, that here the countries themselves had to like voluntarily set a target and try to achieve that. No mechanism forces a country to set a specific emission target by a specific date, but each target should go beyond previously set target. So that is also something that even though there is no forcing mechanism over here that a country should set this much target, but the idea is if you have set a target, next time if you are like you have to keep on increasing it, you cannot move backward. So this is something, these are the other details which you should know about the Paris Agreement. Now let's just also try to quickly understand what India has committed. So this is intended nationally determined contribution. So these are the target which India has set for itself under the Paris Agreement. So India has pledged to improve the emission intensity of its GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 below 2005 level. So from 2005 level, the idea is by 2030, the GDP intensity of emission should be improved by 33 to 35%. Then it has also pledged to increase the share of non-fossil fuel based electricity to 40% by 2030. So like from instead of the coal based electrical generation, from non-fossil fuel like from your hydroelectricity, solar power, wind energy, From that also the electricity would reach around the 40% by 2030. It has also agreed to enhance its forest cover, which will absorb around 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 by 2030. So this is also which has been pledged by India under its INDC in Paris Agreement, that they will also try to increase the forest cover so that it could like work as a place where 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide could be absorbed. So these are the few pledges which India has done. Now let's just quickly see how has been the progress. So for the first one, by 2014, the emission intensity of GDP was reduced by 21% of 2005 level. So 2014 we were able to reach 21%. Now till 2030 we have a goal to reach to 33 to 35%. So we are making good headways in this regard. Then in terms of the non-renewable energy and renewable energy contribution in terms of the electrical generation, so 35% of power capacity based on non-fossil fuel achieved by March 2018. So by 2018 itself we were able to achieve 35% from using the non-fossil fuels, which means that we are again on a right path to be able to achieve 40% by 2030. Then in the area of creating a carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of which can absorb CO2, the emission avoided by the forest cover fall by more than half between 2010 and 14. So basically again the forest cover fall has the emission which were avoided was reduced. Those tree cover doubled in the same period. So basically the falling of tree has been reduced, the tree cover has increased. Overall this is also something which India is en route to achieve its target. So these are the few headways made by the India in the regard with how it has been faring in terms of what it has pledged under the Paris Agreement. So these are the things you would need to know about the Paris Agreement, and also what India has pledged and what has been its achievement so far. So I hope you have understood this video. If you have any doubt, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you.